Hey guys, welcome to Farm Charm Chic. I'm Emily. In today's episode, I am making some beautiful farmhouse wall hangings. I know you're going to love them. It is part of a collaboration and I'll tell you more about that later. But if you like crafting, DIYs, dupes, hacks, thrift flips, or just creating in general, I would love if you would consider subscribing. And if you do like any of today's projects, remember to hit that thumbs up. But let's make some DIYs. This is such a fun DIY and it can be made with all Dollar Tree products. So I'm using this welcome sign, one of these wood round signs, and then this tile piece. I love these tile pieces from Dollar Tree. Now this is actually inspired by a piece that I saw Brenda from Rustic and Lace make in the 5 Under 5 challenge. I'll leave a link to her video so you can see how cute her project is that she made, or I'll leave a photo of it here so you can see. But it totally inspired me that I wanted to make something similar out of I had all of these pieces that I wanted to do. So I'm just cutting this tin piece. It's not really tin, it's just like a plastic. I cut it down to fit the circular shape of that sign. When you're gluing it on here, be careful because that is plastic. It will radiate that heat and become hot. So I'm just using my brayer to make sure that that gets adhered to the wood piece for my sign. I love these tile pieces. The blue color is a new color that Dollar Tree has had, and so I'm really excited to kind of work with this one. Now I was showing you there that I had a little piece of where the edge of the tile was that hit the top of my sign, and so that's where I place the top of the sign because I'll cover it up with a bow. Now I'm giving this a very aged look with some antiquing wax and a baby wipe, and I'm just kind of pushing it all over. I wanted this to look extremely aged in Farmhouse. So really this step would be completely optional. So now I'm just removing the hanging twine on this welcome sign. Just be careful when you're doing this because I felt it kind of like wobble a little bit, almost like it would break in half. So just be really careful removing that. You could even cut it off, would be easier. And I started putting some antiquing wax on with a baby white because I wanted it to have that dark brown color, but it was kind of not giving the coverage that I wanted. So I just went into a method of using a brush to adhere it with, or to apply it with. And then I did take a chip brush with some white chalk paint on it to kind of make it pop that three-dimensional look. Honestly, I don't feel that added too much to it, so you could probably skip that step as well. But I'm just using some hot glue, and then I am just lining it up to where those letters all fit onto my sign, and I'm using that line that's provided on the tile to kind of make sure that I get it straight. Now this twine came from the nautical line at Dollar Tree this year, and I have loved it. This is rope, not twine though. They did have twine, which is really cute. That's what Brenda ended up using on her sign. But I'm just taking this rope and I'm just going to glue all around the edge to kind of give this a more finished look. I just thought it kind of added a little something to it, something extra. It was just there and I thought it was really cute. So I'm just using a little bit of glue on the edges, and then I do work in little segments as you can see here, and I'll place that glue down and then just gently make sure you don't burn your fingers with that glue. This would be a perfect project to wear your little silicone finger caps for, and I think I kind of use them here and there throughout this. When I get around all the way around the sign, I just cut that excess off and then just glue it down there, and you can see I'm using my little silicone finger cap there. And now I need some greenery, so I just took one of these little sprigs from Dollar Tree and cut it up so I had a couple of pieces to go on either side of my sign there. And then what I decided is I needed a bow, and I have this burlap ribbon, and this would be completely optional, and I know Dollar Tree sells burlap ribbon. You could even just use jute twine. But I decided to make a little bow here just by making a loop out of the burlap there and then just some tails. You can kind of watch what I'm doing. And I just fold that little bow over, and then I fold the tails to kind of tie all together here because I wanted those tails to kind of hang downwards rather than out of the sides of the loops, I think that makes sense. And you can see I just tie it off with a little piece of twine because we'll cover that up in a minute. And on these little sprigs of greenery, I tie them with twine too because I thought that would be the easiest to make sure that they don't come falling off of there, and I just have to glue one piece on rather than 4 pieces. So in my mind that made sense. And then I just put a little bit of glue there and tie that bow. Now you can see I did dovetail those. And when I glue my ribbon down, I kind of pull those little tails down so I do have more of a downward motion. And I just glued a little hanging piece onto the back. But I think this turned out absolutely darling. How cute would this be on a front door or hanging on a porch somewhere? I think it is so cute. What do you guys think of this? I am so excited for today's DIYs because it is part of a collaboration that I host with the Crafty Cove DIY and 6 Kids in a Glue Gun. And each month we pick a guest host, and this month our spotlight crafter is Simply Becky DIY. I'm going to leave a link to Becky's channel down in my description box. Make sure you stop by and tell her hi. Let her know that Emily from Farm Charm Chic sent you. Show her some love and subscribe to her channel because I know you guys are going to love her DIYs. Now there's going to be a link to the playlist down in my description box. That is going to take you to a playlist full of different crafters videos that will feature wall hangings and signs. You are going to get so much inspiration and it is going to be so much fun. I decided to peek in at Hobby Lobby's clearance this week and I found this sign here. You can see the original price there and what I ended up paying for it. It was 75% off. And it's not a sign that I necessarily need that saying on. However, it is a very sweet sentiment, a very sweet saying, and it's totally true. But I bought it with the intent to cover it up and so, or just to use it as a blank piece, because a lot of times you can get some really nice pieces in Hobby Lobby's clearance and you can kind of tailor them to match your own decor. So I'm just going to use some of this removable wallpaper from Dollar Tree. I love this little herringbone pattern that is on this with that faux wood, and I thought it would be perfect for the project that I'm doing. So I'm just using kind of like a little X-Acto type knife there to cut the edge to get it to be an exact fit to go in here. And this removable wallpaper is so easy to work with. I'll show you with the next piece, like I don't get it lined up quite right, and it was super easy to be able to peel it back, line it up again, and it still had a really good adhesive on the back of it. And so I'm just going around all of the edges here. I kind of matched the edges before I placed it down, just so if I needed to clean anything up with any scissors or anything, I could do that. But you can see this last piece here, because it wasn't, my one piece wasn't quite big enough to cover the whole thing, but I don't have it lined quite up and it just peels right back so easily. And I'm able to do that a couple of times to get it lined up. And it goes down, there's not a problem with, and I apologize for my hair in the way here, but it really worked out really well and I thought it looked super cute. Now this is just the back of one of the round signs from Dollar Tree's seasonal section. You can use a wood round they sell in their Crafter's Corner now, or Crafter's Square, excuse me. And I just paint it white and I did go around the edge with a little bit of black to give it an enamel look. And I'm taking one of these little farmhouse chickens from Dollar Tree, one of these little tins. I actually one day walked into my Dollar Tree and they had some of these little tins and I think they're so cute, so I was so excited. But I decided to paint it black and then I just put a couple of tumbling tower blocks on the back side of it, so that way it'll pop out a little bit from my round here when I glue it down. It gives it a little bit of a three-dimensional look, which I personally feel that kind of adds a little extra touch, makes it look a little high-end or something. Now I'm taking some floral foam here. I think this is actually just styrofoam that I'm using here, but I just get this at Dollar Tree. It just comes in the little squares there in the floral section, and just using some hot glue. And you may want to, wear on this removable wallpaper and the fact that this is styrofoam, use a little bit of E6000 as well to give it that permanent hold. Otherwise it might it kind of melts the styrofoam and it doesn't adhere the best to that removable wallpaper, the texture on it. So just keep in mind use of E6000 or some super glue with the hot glue. So once this has completely dried, then you can start to place some florals around it. And this is where you can really tailor it to your own decor needs or what style you want or what season you're working with. And depending on the size of your pieces, like your background and your front piece will depend on how many florals you need and how, if you need to cut them down or if you want them really long, you know, or what shape or anything like that. So you just kind of tailor it to the type of sign that you're making. Now I have made a couple of these three-dimensional signs or 3D signs on my channel and I get a big response from them. Everybody loves them. It's something I haven't seen a lot of other crafters do, but it's something that I've made for several years and I just think they're so fun because it's kind of like the combination of a wreath and a sign together, and it just has so much texture and I just think they turn out so cute. So you can see I just glued that front part on and look at how darling this is, and you can put whatever you want on that front piece. It doesn't have to be a chicken. You can make it say something fun, whatever will match your decor. I just love how this turns out. Are you guys on Instagram? If you are, I would love if you would come and find me. I am Farm Charm Chic over there. I'll leave a link down in my description box so you can easily find me. But come and see what I'm working on. I post there quite a bit. I like to show you things that I'm working on or when I have videos ready. It's just another place to stay in touch. So if you do come find me, remember to send me a DM and say hi, because I do love meeting new friends. If you guys have followed me for any length of time, you might remember me telling you that we had a barn that we had to tear down, and we have all of this leftover barn wood, which yay for me because I have a lot of it and it is so fun to make projects out of. So I'm just I cut 3 pieces of the barn wood down to be 21 inches in length, and I found this piece at Hobby Lobby. It was $9.99. I bought it when it was half off, so it was $5, and it's like the half of a milk can. And I also found this stencil at Hobby Lobby, which I thought was so cute. It was $2.99. I'm not sure if the stencils go on sell ever, so you could get that at a cheaper price. I just paid the $2.99 for it, and I just taped it onto the front of this, and I am going to just kind of use my little sponge brush here, this little stencil tool from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going up and down very lightly with black paint all to cover the entire stencil there. Now, I think it's a little weird that the handle is on the front of this piece here too, because technically that's not where your label would probably be on a milk can, but it works. So I'm just going, like I said, pouncing up and down until I get a feel that the coverage is really good, and then I'm slowly just going to remove this. And there were a couple of areas that it did kind of bleed a little bit through, but for the most part, I love how it turned out. I think it turned out really well. Doing a stencil on the middle, I think, was a little bit of where my problem lied. In a couple of those letters, you can kind of see where they smudged a little bit, just the nature of the slipperiness. So I don't know if any Mod Podge might help with stenciling there. So that just a tip for you there. So I thought it would be kind of cute to add a little bit of rust to this, but I didn't want to go overboard. You guys have seen me do some pretty fun rust techniques with baking soda and a bunch of different colors of paint, but I just got out my burnt umber from apple barrel paint, and I just went over all of like the little rivet areas on this, and then anywhere like that I felt would maybe be a natural rust, like around the edge of the handles and everything. And I just kind of went all over this and gave it a little bit of a touch. I even go down to the bottom of the sign here where those little rivets are. Just kind of adds a little bit of aging to it. I kind of wanted it to look like it was an older piece. So that's completely optional. It's up to you whether you do that. And you can see here I do just a little bit of an extra, like a bigger rust spot or something. I personally like the way that looks, but it was kind of fun making it look all old. Now I glued 2 of those wood pieces together, so now I'm gluing the 3rd, and I just used these clamps, but when I got the 3rd piece on there, my clamps were not big enough, so I had to take it out to the garage to use some of our big industrial clamps that we have, or bigger clamps. I don't know that they're necessarily industrial, but they're bigger than the ones that I have in my studio. I can leave a link to those clamps down in my description box because I do get asked about those quite a bit. But I wanted to brighten up my wood here so it wasn't quite as dark as this barn wood is. But when I got to this middle piece, you can see I got a little heavy-handed and was like, ooh, I didn't really know what to do, so I just had a baby wipe in my hand, and so I just started kind of wiping it. But it was kind of a happy accident because I end up really liking how this technique turns out. Not quite a whitewash because I didn't really like wet the paint down. I could have easily done that, but somewhere maybe in between. So I just kind of go over a little bit heavier on the wood from this point forward, and then once I get a few stripes on there, I'll just take my baby wipe and kind of wipe over it. You can see here I get all of the paint down there. I kind of pay attention to get some down into that knot, and it's not like full coverage that you're doing here, but just a little bit. And then as I wipe with it, it starts to come up, but it also, like, I'm picking some of it up, but it also pushes some of it down into those really like nooks and crannies, I guess, of the wood, we'll call it. And I really kind of like the gray tint that this gives off. I have a lot of pieces that I've made with the dark barn wood, and so I thought it would be kind of fun to try and brighten it up a little bit. So I was actually quite pleased with how this ended up looking, but I'll just kind of speed this up a little bit and show you here kind of how easy it was. And of course, you know, if you've got scrap wood or you like the way that it looks, you know, do what's going to match your decor and what you like the best. I just like trying new things and different techniques, and sometimes you do things and it really is a fail, and sometimes like this, in my opinion, it was kind of a happy little accident. So now we're going to affix the little milk can to our piece here. So I'm using some E6000 because I just want to make sure that this is held really well, and then hot glue for that short-term hold. And then this milk can fits on my particular pieces of wood. It fits like very evenly. You can kind of see as I turn it over here, perfectly on that middle piece of wood there, so I could center it really easily. So you can kind of measure it out on your wood if you need to. And then I just had it not quite to the bottom, just up a little bit. And I even put my hand inside to kind of hold it down. It is tin, so it is going to radiate that heat, so just be careful. Now I have this little buffalo check ribbon that I thought would be really cute to go around the edge of this, just to kind of add a little something decorative on here. I know you wouldn't really have a ribbon like this on a milk can, but I thought it just kind of added that little bit of an extra farmhouse touch. Probably should have done this before I glued it on, but you know, sometimes in crafting you never really get your choice. You kind of do something and think, oh, maybe I'll try this. So it worked out well. I just used a little hot glue on both of the ends, and then I'm just stuffing some florals in there. I love this because I can change it up for different seasons. So I can have this up year round, put some fall florals, some Christmas florals, whatever I decide in there, some flags for 4th of July. I just think this turned out so cute. It is going to get so much use in my house, and really it was not that much money to recreate, but I just love the farmhouse feel that it gives. Thank you so much for joining me today to watch me make and create these beautiful wall hangings. They were so fun, and I'm so excited to display each of them in my home. I would love to know which of these you are most likely to recreate, or if you had a favorite, just let me know down in the comments. I will leave a link to the playlist down in my description box, so you can click on that and see all the other beautiful wall hangings and signs that the other crafters have made. And thank you again to Amanda for putting this wonderful collaboration together. I'm so excited to get to host this with her and Missy. And remember to visit Becky's channel. Her link is in my description box as well. As always, remember to be safe, be smart, be nice, be happy. Choose to have a good day, because you are amazing. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed the video that you just saw, here's another one that you might enjoy. And as always, remember to like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and have an amazing day.